Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Smackdown review. And Smackdown tonight, I gotta say, it was a decent show, in my opinion. It wasn't great, wasn't a good show, but I found it to be enjoyable tonight. It was better than Monday Night Raw on Monday. But tonight, we saw a six-man tag with Rey Mysterio, Biggie, and Daniel Bryan versus Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura. We had Corbin versus Buddy Murphy, a rematch from last week, which Corbin wanted. Corbin wanted to have this rematch because the Mysterios ended up getting involved in the match last week. Dominic and Rey and Natalya. And in the main event, we saw Kevin Owens and Otis versus Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. But SmackDown was a decent show tonight. But let's jump right into the review. So SmackDown opened up tonight, and we had a tribute to the late great Pat Patterson, WWE Hall of Famer Pat Patterson, who passed away this week. He passed away on Wednesday. He was 79. And I forgot to mention, I actually met Pat Patterson. I think it was 3 years ago. I think it was during SummerSlam weekend. And he was a good guy. He was a nice guy. He took pictures, with the fans there. He was just overall a very nice guy. He was nice to everybody that was there. Very nice guy he was. So unfortunately, I didn't get a picture with him, but it was good seeing him there. So, but they had the tribute to Pat Patterson. They also did it on NXT on Wednesday. But we saw the roster on the stage. We had Vince McMahon out there. Gerald Briscoe was shown. And so they did the 10-bell salute. And Michael Cole and Corey Graves were shown. Michael Cole ended up saying that he remembers Patterson and asks everyone to stand in a moment of silence for the 10-bell salute. And then we had the 10-bell salute. And then we had a fake crowd chant of "Thank you, Pat." But that was that. And then we had the SmackDown intro with the AC/DC. Are you ready? So after the intro, we went to Kayla Braxton, who was in the ring with the mic. She ended up introducing the Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. So Roman ended up coming out along with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. We had a video package that was shown from last week where Roman was talking down to Jey Uso in the ring. Jey ended up attacking Otis from behind with the chair. And after we saw all that from last week, and we saw Kayla Braxton was seeming to annoy Roman. Roman ended up saying that this is the biggest thing that Kayla has ever been a part of. The biggest thing in her career. So Roman was like, "Oh, you have these stupid questions?" Roman ended up saying that they could have had Michael Cole do this interview. But they let her talk to the Tribal Chief. So Kayla ended up asking if Roman is possibly using Jey as a pawn and manipulating Jey. Reigns ended up telling Kayla Braxton that those are stupid words for stupid people. He ended up saying that he means no disrespect and that he's not the kind of man to manipulate. So Roman went on and he ended up praising his cousin, Jey. And then he mentions how they've given Kayla Braxton opportunities. So Roman ended up telling Paul Heyman to handle this. So Paul Heyman ended up saying about how Jay has helped with the ratings because Roman has given the family opportunities. So then out came Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens made his way down to the ring. As soon as he got in the ring, he ended up saying that it's been established that they don't fear each other. And he sees no point in waiting until later on in the night. He ended up saying that he figured since Roman didn't come to him last week, he'd come to him now, and that they both can settle this. So we had Jay end up saying they run this show, and they accept. So Kevin Owens ended up saying that he wasn't talking to the busboy, which I found funny because he ended up saying that he wasn't talking to Jey Uso. He was talking to the head of the table in Roman Reigns. So Kevin Owens was like, oh yeah, I have the place for this. How about at TLC? So Kevin Owens ended up saying, let's not stop there. Let's get a table in there, since Roman is the head of the table. He's like, oh, let's get a ladder. Oh, and let's get some chairs for a TLC match. And he ended up saying that Roman can put the Universal Championship on the line and that they can settle this like men. Or Kevin Owens ended up saying they could do it right now because that's fine. So Kevin Owens ended up dropping the mic. He was waiting for the fight to Roman. Roman ended up saying that Kevin Owens wants it because it would be good for his career to be on the island of relevancy. He ended up going on to say that he and Jay do not fear anyone. So Jay ended up saying that they accept. So Roman ended up accepting too. Roman ended up saying that he'd whoop Kevin Owens' ass if he was the man he used to be. He ended up saying, but there's time and place for everything, and it's not right now. Reigns went on to say that he's not a savage anymore. He's a gentleman. And he ended up saying that there's a lady in the room. So he ended up telling Kevin Owens to grow up. So Reigns ended up dropping the mic, ended up exiting the ring with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso. So Kevin Owens ended up getting back on the mic. He ended up asking for Roman's music to be cut. Owens ended up saying that he just wants Roman to know that he will grow up when Roman grows some balls. So Kevin Owens ended up saying that Roman might call himself a gentleman. But he ended up saying right now it's clear to everyone that Roman is just a bitch. So pretty much that was basically that. Though, but it was a decent opening to SmackDown here. With Roman in there. And this is getting very interesting right now, with Roman and Kevin Owens. This whole Roman Reigns character that WWE has taken him right now, with him being a heel, it's just very enjoyable. It's very enjoyable television here, when Roman's on TV. But this is the Roman Reigns that they should have done, 5 years ago. When everybody was getting sick of seeing him as a babyface, they wanted change with Roman. So it took WWE for not to have any fans here because of the pandemic to get Roman to be a heel. But really enjoying what they're doing with Roman. So let's hope they keep up this momentum. And so then we had Bayley versus Natalya, which this was just very meh, in my opinion. We had Bianca Belair on commentary. So before the match got underway, we saw Jey Uso was ranting to Roman in the back about how Kevin Owens ended up crossing the line and how Kevin Owens disrespected the both of them. Jey ended up saying that he probably took it too far, but he had to accept. So Roman was calming Jey down, and he ended up saying to just remember that there are consequences for everything. He ended up saying that he loves Jey. So then Roman ended up walking off. So it was then confirmed that it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns at TLC. So it's going to be a TLC match. So there you go. Kevin Owens got his match with Roman Reigns at TLC. So then we went to the match, Bayley versus Natalya. Bianca Belair, like I said, was on commentary. Bayley ended up taking Natalya down. We saw Bayley end up kicking Natalya in the gut. She ended up trapping Natalya in the ropes and started loading some strikes to Natalya. And there was a point where Bayley went back out of the ring. She was yelling at Bianca. Natalya then attacked Bayley from behind and launched her into the ring steps, which Bayley went hard into the ring steps. So then later on we had Bianca end up getting up from the announce table. She was taunting Bayley while Bayley was locked in the sharpshooter by Natalya. So Bayley ended up tapping out quickly. So there you go. Natalya ended up winning the match. Post-match, we had Bianca laughing at Bayley, which Bayley was, yelling at Bianca. So that was that. But overall, very meh match. And so then after that, SmackDown went to commercial. Then when SmackDown came back, we had a tribute to Pat Patterson. We got a video tribute, which was very well done. And we saw the original Intercontinental Championship on display that was at ringside, which Pat Patterson ended up holding. Which that belt, looked amazing. So, we had a video package of, of Patterson's highlights through, his life and career. And, it was set to, of course, Frank Sinatra's song My Way, which, from what I heard, that was one of Patterson's favorite songs. And, he was shown singing it. But it was a very well done video package, just very enjoyable, nicely edited. But Pat Patterson, he will be missed. And then we went to Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, and Biggie versus Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Shinsuke Nakamura. This was a Pat Patterson tribute match. So Biggie ended up coming out. He came out to his old NXT entrance music, where he had the chalk or the powder that he clapped at, and the powder or the chalk was just shooting up. It was good to see that. We haven't seen that in a while. So that's how I remember Biggie when he was in NXT and he got called up to the main roster. That he did that before, of course, the New Day. So then we had Dolph Ziggler end up coming out. So the match started off with Nakamura and Rey Mysterio started off. They went back and forth, which this match was a very decent match. It was a very enjoyable match. We had Nakamura end up dropping Rey Mysterio with the shoulder. Rey ended up getting up and he sent Nakamura flying. Biggie ended up coming in and Nakamura ended up taking out. Biggie and Dolph end up going at it. Dolph ended up talking some trash to Biggie. Biggie then slammed Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan came in and he came off the top. He nailed Ziggler in the arm. So then Daniel Bryan was working on Dolph Ziggler's arm. He was beating Dolph around the ring. And at the end of the match, you had Daniel Bryan, Biggie, and Rey Mysterio win the match. Bryan ended up, cradles Sami Zayn for the win. It was like what Patterson would do. Patterson did. So Daniel Bryan, Biggie, and Rey Mysterio ended up winning. Post-match, we had Daniel Bryan, Biggie, and Rey Mysterio. They were on the ramp. They ended up coming back into the ring. And we had a brawl ensue because Nakamura and Sami Zayn ended up charging at them, and they both got sent out to the floor. Dolph Ziggler was shown dancing around the ring. He ends up turning around to see Daniel Bryan, Biggie, and Rey Mysterio all staring him down. So Dolph was then pleading, offers them to shake his hand. But then Dolph was shown dropping down to his knees. He was begging them. So Dolph ended up trying to hit Daniel Bryan, but he got hit with a atomic drop. Ray then ended up nailing a 619 to Dolph Ziggler. Biggie ended up hitting the big ending to Dolph. And so that was basically that. But this was a very enjoyable tribute match. Really enjoyed it. So then we had Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton was backstage with Kevin Owens. Kayla ended up mentioning the TLC match to him, and he asks why Roman draws so much. Kevin Owens ended up going on about how he used to respect Roman. He ended up saying no matter what Roman was, always one of the boys. And he ended up saying that something changed, and that it's despicable. Kevin Owens ended up saying that he himself is certainly not perfect, and that he's tried to make amends and be gracious to everyone else, from the crew to the superstars and everyone else. So we see a door open, and Kalisto ended up walking out of the room. He was confused about where he's at. So Kevin Owens ended up telling him that they're live. So Kevin Owens ends up going on about how bad Roman is, and that he won't curse for Fox. So Otis ended up coming up. Otis ended up doing a little comedy for Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens ended up laughing, and he ended up asking Kayla to give them a minute. So Otis ended up getting hyped up about getting his hands on Roman and Jay later on in the main event. So Kevin Owens ended up saying that sounds good to him. So there you go. So then we had another video of Pat Patterson, which featured tributes from various superstars. So we saw that. And then we had Michael Cole and Kroy Graves. They were joined by Carmella and Sasha Banks for their War of Words interview. So Sasha and Carmella were sitting in different areas backstage. So they ended up interrupting Michael Cole, and they were talking crap to each other. Sasha ended up saying that Carmella wishes she could be like her. So Carmella ended up calling her a Nicki Minaj wannabe. Michael Cole ended up bringing up how long they've known each other, going back to their training days in NXT. Sasha ended up giving Carmella some praise, but she ended up knocking Carmella from going guy to guy. We all know what, Carmella, she was dating Big Cass, a few years ago, and then they broke up. She went to Corey Graves, and now her and Corey Graves are dating. So Sasha ended up saying that there's a reason they've never faced one-on-one. And it's because Sasha is in a different league, which Carmella will never be in. So Carmella ended up saying that Sasha is just jealous. She ended up saying that Sasha looks at her and her blood boils with jealousy. She ended up saying that Sasha worked her whole life, worked her butt off to become a WWE superstar. When Carmella ended up saying that she just walked in and became a success overnight with half the effort. Carmella ended up saying that Sasha is right. She's nothing like her. She's superior in every way, and that Sasha can't handle it. She ended up saying that she's not only the hot chick that is going to embarrass Sasha. She's going to take the SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha ended up saying that Carmella can have a title shot, if she wants it, at TLC. So Sasha then promises that Carmella has never been in the ring with a better bitch than she is. So Carmella then laughs at Sasha. She ends up cutting her feet off. And that was basically that. But overall, this was just very meh. This was a very meh segment. So then we have Buddy Murphy versus Corbin, which, this was a rematch from last week, and which Corbin ended up requesting because the Mysterios end up getting involved. So we had Corbin make his way out. Corbin had two guards wearing black hoodies, and they both accompanied Corbin to the ring. So, but overall, this match, it was just okay. Didn't love it. Wasn't great. Corbin started overpowering on Buddy Murphy, tossing him around as the bell rang. Buddy Murphy delivered a knee and a jawbreaker to Corbin, which Corbin got up and sent Murphy into the apron. He ended up nailing a shoulder thrust and a right hand to Buddy Murphy. But there's a point later on at the end of the match where we had these guards end up attacking Rey Mysterio and Dominic. They end up dropping them into the barricade. Buddy Murphy then ended up going out and chasing them off. He then went back into the ring, and then Corbin ended up catching Buddy Murphy and delivered the end of days. So there you go. Corbin ended up winning the match. Overall, it was just a okay match. Post-match, we had Corbin end up standing tall with these guys. We had Dominic and Rey furious. So that was that. And then we had the Street Profits, SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They were hyping up the main event, of course, being walking billboards, like WWE has been going back to doing with the Street Profits, making them walking billboards, hyping up certain stuff that we're going to see. So yeah, the Street Profits are back to being walking billboards. So then we had Robert Roode end up coming up. Roode ended up knocking the Street Profits for talking about everyone else's business, except for what he and Dolph did to them last week. So then Cesaro ended up appearing. Cesaro was taking shots at the Street Profits. And the Profits end up asking Cesaro and Roode where their titles are. So they all end up bickering. Would not be surprised to see, Roode and Cesaro team up to take on the Profits next week. And then we had the main event. Otis and Kevin Owens versus Roman and Jey Uso. And before the match got underway, we got another video package from Pat Patterson from various superstars. So then we had Jey Uso come out, where Jey was standing on the other stage. He was waiting for, of course, his cousin Roman to come out, and Roman didn't come out. So Jey just made his way into the ring. It became a 2-on-1 handicap match for a little bit. So we had Otis then unloaded on Jey Uso in the corner. He overpowered Jey. And Otis kept control of the match. He ended up launching Jey across the ring. Jey ended up fighting back, but Otis ended up delivering a clothesline to him. So Kevin Owens was taunting Jey Uso from the ring apron. He was asking, "Oh, where's Roman at?" So there was more back and forth. We had Owens end up coming in. Jey Uso ended up beating Owens down in the corner. Jey ended up catching Owens and delivered the Samoan drop. And they both were down. And then finally, Roman ended up coming out along with Paul Heyman. It took Roman 4 minutes just to come out. 4 or 5 minutes just to come out. So Jey Uso ended up turning his back to Kevin Owens, and Owens then dropped him with the enziguri. Roman ended up running in, and he knocked Otis off of the apron with a Superman punch. There was a point where Roman was unloading on Otis, slamming him into the ring apron, and then to the edge of the announce table, and then into the ring post. So Roman then ended up sending Otis face first into the ring steps, and Roman then took the ring steps apart. He ended up slamming the steps on top of Otis. He was just driving the steps into him over and over again. So Kevin Owens then ran over and attacked Roman from behind. So at the end of the match, we had Kevin Owens end up avoiding a super kick from Jey. He ended up dropping Jey with the stunner. Goes for the pin. Reigns ends up breaking it. Reigns applied the guillotine to Kevin Owens, and the referee had to call for the bell. So Otis and Kevin Owens end up winning the match by disqualification. Post-match, we saw Reigns end up keeping the guillotine locked in. Kevin Owens was shown fading. Reigns ends up breaking the guillotine, and he turned his attention to Jey. Jey went to the timekeeper's area, and he brought 2 chairs into the ring. So Reigns and Jey had a chair in hand. They ended up taking turns, and they delivered chair shots to Kevin Owens' back. So Reigns ended up telling Jey to finish off Kevin Owens. So Jey ended up placing his chair over Kevin Owens. Jey went to the top, and he delivered a Uso splash on top of Kevin Owens and the chair. So then Reigns nails Jey over the back with the chair. So just Reigns was then unloaded with chair shots to Jey. Reigns ended up kneeling down over Jey and Kevin Owens. Roman was yelling at them. He ended up placing the Universal Championship over Kevin Owens' body. And Paul Heyman was shocked as he looked on from ringside. He had a shocked look on his face. Reigns ended up saying that Kevin Owens tried to make him a monster and mess with his family. And so he ended up saying, so now he is going to take his manhood and his livelihood. And Kevin Owens and his family will fear Roman. So referee was shown trying to get Roman to back off. Reigns ended up standing tall over Kevin Owens and Jey Uso. Reigns then raised the Universal Championship. And that was how SmackDown went off the air tonight. But overall, the match itself, it was a decent match here. Overall, SmackDown was a decent show. Wasn't great, wasn't good, but it was decent and enjoyable, in my opinion. It was better than last week's show, and it was a hell of a lot better than what we saw on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. But anyways, that's it for the SmackDown review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. And definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. And until next video, I'll see you all later.